everybody out there on YouTube, and welcome to race number 21, which I almost am at age. Race 21 of Season 7 NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, aka Thrash Maniac 99, the voice of NNSCRA Walmart Cup Series, here to welcome you to one of the biggest races of the schedule and also one of the biggest races in all of motorsports, the Brickyard 400 here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where we are about to go 24 laps of racing here at this big rectangular 2.5 mile racetrack, where is home of the Indianapolis 500, which is approaching, to my knowledge, the 100th race of it, which is going to be special once we get to it. And also the home of the Brickyard 400 and NASCAR racing. But anyways, before we get started, I'm about to show you the starting lineup for the race, which I am scrolling through. So for those who are watching that is in the race, you can see where you guys are starting. But I'm going to look at the top 10. So we've got Chase Oliver on the pole. Dougie Shears, like I said, after a good run last week, it's been a while since we've seen Shears have good runs. Maybe this week starting second will be a good luck charm for him to potentially go to victory lane. Jessica Sheldon in third, and then 4 through 6 are all rookies. Kyle Corbett, Tanner Sullivan, and Johnny Gardner. 7th, Joshua Balkin. 8th is Preston Plord. 9th, Ian Dutta. 10th is Sean Galligan. Now, before we get started, we're going to take a look at the top 20 in the point standings coming into this race, especially since after this race, we will have 5 races left until the chase for the championship. Right now, P.J. Williams leads by 24 points over Jesse Setti. Third is David Rivera, who is a total of 35 points behind. Trent Dunham in 4th, 36 points back. Chris Michaels is in 5th, he's 41 points back. Matt McIntyre in the 6th position in points, 45 back. Charles Jackson 7th in points, a total of 51 back. Zachary Fitzwater in 8th, a total of 53 back. Chase Oliver 9th, 55 back. And then Michael Norman in 10th, 56 points back. But pretty much the margin from about 7th on back to 23rd, from 7th through 23rd, is separated by 51 points. So anything can still happen. Pretty much guys who are in the 20s in the points can still get up in the top 10 or get a victory or two to get a wild card spot. Currently, the wild card drivers that would get in would be Sean Galligan for having 2 victories, and then Stephen Pollard III, who's 20th in the points, the highest outside the top 10 with a victory. Minus Galligan with 2, of course. But I think it would be safe to say P.J. Williams, the points leader, will have already locked himself a spot in the chase no matter what happens. Staying in the top 10 or dropping out and probably getting a wild card spot. So P.J. Williams, in my opinion, is the big lock right now to remain in the chase. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get the drivers to start their engines.
Drivers, start your engines!
And there you have it, people. So we will be going a full lap of pacing here at this huge racetrack. And it's going to be fun. As far as people wondering what are the upcoming races in the schedule, you're about to have a little bit of a pause in the pace laps as I get ready to pull up the schedule so I can remind myself. So I apologize for that little pause, but we will be back. And there you have it. So after this race, there are 5 races left until the chase. Next week, we head to Pocono. Big, just as big as this track, but it's the Tricky Triangle. Then we go to the road course of Watkins Glen, which is going to be interesting. Then we go to the 2-mile racetrack of Michigan. Then we go back to a road course we went to before All-Star break. We go to Lime Rock. And then our regular season finale before the chase is the Southern 500 at Darlington, where drivers are going to run some of the drivers are going to run retro paint schemes, and that's going to be an interesting race to say the least. And by the way, I just noticed, second row, it's both Napa Auto Parts cars with Sheldon and Corbett. Just thought I'd point that out. And then starting in the last row, we have Kyle Matthews and Jessica Villanueva. So there you have it with the final row, row 21. But with 3 rookies starting in the top 10 with Corbett, Sullivan, and Gardner, one of those 3 could have a strong day and get themselves a victory. Right now, as far as the rookies go, the highest in the points is Kyle Corbett in 18th, and he does lead the rookie point standings coming into this race. Pace car is in pit road, which means that we are getting ready to go racing here at the Brickyard at Indy. And here we go! Boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys and girls. Chase Oliver didn't get off to that great of a start, but he's going to be able to capitalize by using that low line to remain in the lead. But Jessica Sheldon's got to run to the inside with draft help from Tanner Sullivan, and now Sheldon's going to be to the inside of the 68. Sheldon still has that run, and I think she's going to get to lead lap 1. Although Tanner Sullivan woed up big time, so Sheldon's going to have quite a good distance over rookie Tanner Sullivan here on lap 2, as Jessica Sheldon led the first lap. So she gets a bonus point, which is helpful for her to try to get into that chase. Although Sheldon, she's kind of got a long climb ahead of her. She is 32nd in the points. Not really had the best of luck as of late. She wrecked out last week at Chicago after the crazy wreck fest we had there that we would like to forget about. But Sheldon can easily rebound by getting a victory here and eventually maybe even get good finishes or another win and get in the chase as a wild card driver. As she goes ahead to lead lap 2. As we're getting ready for, I think, for a battle for seconds about to brew. Tanner Sullivan has the spot, but pole sitter Chase Oliver wants it. Now, Chase Oliver's no stranger to running up here in the front here at Indy. He's won here twice in the past. If I can recall, I believe he won this race last season, from what I remember. I could be wrong in that, but I'm just going by with what I think. But Chase Oliver, he ain't going to give up easily. He may not have gotten the lead a lap yet, but he can easily get back up there. And both Sullivan and Oliver have caught the 25 of Sheldon, so it's that little run Sheldon had with a good margin is going to be short-lived for now. And another car that's starting to sneak his way into the picture is the 03 of Charles Sanford out of Richard Childress Racing. And we just had a freezing moment for a second, which I get that on my game all the time, which I don't understand why. But we didn't really miss much. Sanford, though, he has caught the 2 drivers up ahead of him in second and third, Sullivan and Oliver. Sheldon still keeping a bit of distance between herself and Sullivan, but those 3 drivers right behind her could easily get right back up there. Then back here, looks like we may have a battle for the 5th position starting to brew between 3 cars. Kyle Corbett, Ian Dutta, and Dougie Shears. Although up ahead, I saw Charles Sanford was thinking about making a run to the inside of Chase Oliver, but decided to just stay out of it. And pretty much just wait until the right moment. He's still peaking low, though. Whoa, Oliver about lost it. Same with Sanford. That could have been a big problem right there if they didn't get off each other, and they did. Although they're going to lose a little bit of time to Sullivan and Sheldon. But Sullivan's starting to pick up at the pace on the 25. He is right there to the back bumper of Sheldon. And Tanner Sullivan, he comes into this race. Let's see. He comes in 30th in the points. He's been having some bad luck as of late. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot I didn't get to finish the rest of the top 20 in the standings. The rest of the top 20 in the points coming into this race was Dylan Poteet, Preston Plord, Rue McIntyre, Austin LaPlante, Cody Lamas, Angel Navarro, Dorian Facepuncher, Kyle Corbett, Danny Wells, and Stephen Pollard III. Almost forgot about that, but at least I got in. But now the top 4 are all pretty much in a freight train formation, bumper to bumper to bumper, it looks like. Although back here, battles on still for the 5th spot between Corbett and Shears. Shears thought about going underneath of Corbett, but doesn't quite get the spot. But he's just staying tucked in behind. And then Ian Dutta's got a little bit of distance separated. And then back here, huge separation back to the 8th place car of Chris Washer. Zachary Fitzwater in the top 10 right now in the 9th position. And then right here we got 2 Joe Gibbs teammates battling for 10th, Bob Jones and Angel Navarro. It seems like drivers can get either line to work just as long as they carry out the speed. Like right here, Bob Jones manages to stay clear of Angel Navarro by running the low line. But almost like in certain places, the high line could work. Right here, we got a battle for 8th. Chris Washer, Zachary Fitzwater, and here comes Fitzwater to the inside of Washer. Will he be able to get by him, though, coming off of turn 4? We'll see. And it looks like he's going to make it work. Back up here ahead, looks like Sanford managed to get around Chase Oliver, and that cost Chase Oliver quite a bit of time behind the other drivers up at the front. Sullivan still staying in line behind Sheldon. Sheldon has just been putting on a clinic, it seems, here in this race. Old Charles Sanford thinking about going to the inside of his old ride in the 18 of Sullivan. And whoa, a little bit of contact. But they are still battling. That was almost a wreck right there between Sanford and Sullivan. More contact, I think. Oh, I think it's because they slowed up because Jessica Sheldon's coming in the pit road along with a lot of other drivers. Oh, and we get a hard crash. A hard crash back in turn 4. Oh, my goodness. Oh, and more cars. I see Danny Wells spun around. Damage to Zachary Fitzwater, who was running in 9th place at the time. Or actually 8th place. Caution is out. This is going to be interesting because a lot of drivers came in and just wrecked themselves. Oh, Chris Michaels was involved. Preston Plord sustained damage. That is a tough break for him. He's been having some bad runs as of late. Looks like Joshua Balkin got rear end damage in that mess. Benjamin Miles, I'm not sure if he was involved. Same with Jackson. But there's... Oh, actually, I don't think that was Fitzwater. That's Pichu London with the crunched up front end. Because those two cars, the Cheez-Its car and the Mac Tools cars, look a little similar in view. Looks like Jessica Villanueva got some rear end damage from whatever happened here. Must have gotten run into by Pichu London. And I'm still looking around for any more cars that may have been involved, and I can't seem to find any. I think those are the two cars who took the hits, Chris Michaels and Preston Plord. Kyle Matthews, looks like he got a little buckle on his hood. He must have got a piece of whatever this was. There's Balkin, who got rear end damage from it, but Charles Sanford stays out in the field as the leader. Let's go ahead and take a look at a replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at the Brickyard. Well, it looks like a three-wide battle attempt went wrong. Chris Michaels goes underneath Angel Navarro. Austin LaPlante gets a huge run. Contact between Navarro and Michaels sends Michaels into LaPlante. And Chris Michaels, oh my gosh, took a hard hit. Comes back in front of LaPlante and barrel rolls and just slams into the wall. And a couple other cars were in, I didn't know of. Dylan Young and I think Trent Dunham. Oh, and there was the hit right there from Preston Plord. Wow, that got some air, but man, that was just a brutal, wild and brutal ride for the 07 of Michaels, who comes in 5th in the standings. He's been trying to stay in the top 10 so he can make the chase, but let's look at this again in super slow-mo. Yeah, he comes down in front of LaPlante after contact with Navarro. Takes a near head-on hit into the inside wall that's not a safer barrier, comes back in front of LaPlante, gets him up in the air, and is going to flip him over and collect Navarro, who goes spinning, and then Michaels just slams the underneath of the car into the wall, and there you see where Dylan Young and Trent Dunham take hard hits. We'll take a look at that portion here in just a moment. But then we're going to see Preston Plord come into this picture here in just a second. And we're going to see a hard hit right here, folks. Right there. Slams him in the rear. Both cars get air. Charles Jackson got a little piece of it on the right side. But other than that, pretty much got through. But just one more time. Watch this impact he takes into the wall. Bam! Almost like Austin Dillon's wreck at Daytona, except it didn't go into the catch fence. It just slammed the wall. Take a look at that hit one more time, because this was just a hard hit with the underneath of the car. Collects Navarro, but look at this, just wham, right into the safer barrier. And LaPlante actually got up on top of the safer barrier himself from that hit, and that's why Dunham and Young were involved, because they got collected from the 48. Let's take a look and see the Dylan Young, Trent Dunham portion from the TV2 camera, if it picks it up. No, it doesn't. Helicopter view. Yeah, they just... I don't know. We kind of missed it. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Trent's going to get hit right there from LaPlante. Collects Dylan Young after Navarro gets hit too. And they both took some hard hits into the outside wall that got them airborne for a moment. Oh, yeah, and I almost forgot. We got to take a look at the Danny Wells portion here in just a second. But let's see the hit. Trent Dunham took a hard hit into the outside wall. As we're trying to look... Oh, and there's Cody Lamas getting into Jessica Villanueva. That's what happened with that. Just cars stacking up into each other, trying to slow down. Danny Wells does not slow down, just slams into Benjamin Miles and his teammate James Silverfox as cars just get into one another. And there's where Kyle Matthews gets his damage, was coming down in front of Charles Jackson trying to get in the pit road. Yeah, some of this portion of the wreck was started from cars trying to get in the pit road, some cars trying to stay out. But man, oh man, it was just... Yeah, right there, that hit from Preston Plord into Chris Michaels was a pretty heavy hit. Now, Joshua Balkin in the 99, let's see what happened to him, because this is the last part of the wreck we did not see. Oh, this must be where his teammate Pichu London gets into him. Right here, it looks like. Yeah, he tries to stay back out on track, but didn't realize Balkin was right there, and he runs right into the back of him. I don't think there's going to be some happy words exchanged between two Roush teammates. And back there you see Kyle Matthews getting the inside wall that caused his buckle on his hood, but I think we're going to go on board with the 07 of Chris Michaels. On board with Chris Michaels. Be warned, this is going to be a hard ride. Whammo. And then this hit right there from Preston Plord. And there you see the carnage still happening up ahead. But man, oh man. let's go ahead and take you back to the restart here at Indy. Well, during the caution, we had more pit stops take place. And we got several cars out of the race after that crazy wreck we had. Danny Wells, Pichu London, Chris Michaels, Preston Plord, Angel Navarro, Dylan Young, Austin LaPlante, and Trent Dunham all have retired from the race after that crazy big one we just witnessed. But anyways, when we go back racing, it's going to be 11 laps to go. Took a drink of something. But anyways, Ian Dutta gets out of pit road as the leader. So it's going to be interesting to see how the 32 out of Tweenix is going to run. Second is points leader not Trent Dunn. Why am I saying Trent Dunn? PJ Williams. Third is David Rivera. Fourth, Bob Jones. Fifth is Sean Galligan. Sixth is Michael Norman. Seventh, Dorian Facepuncher. Eighth, Seth Cole. Ninth is Johnny Gardner. 10th, Anthony McCrory, though he has a little bit of damage on the front of his car, which may slow him down, but we'll see what happens. Cody Lamas 11th, 12th, Dylan Thoreau, 13th, James Silverfox, 14th, Charles Jackson, 15th, Chase Oliver, 16th, Jessica Sheldon, 17th, Chris Washer, 18th, Dylan Poteet, 19th, Joshua Collard, 20th is Dougie Shears. Rest of the top 30 is Kyle Corbett, Rue McIntyre, top 30 I meant, Tanner Sullivan, Joshua Balkin, Charles Sanford, Stephen Pollard III, Zachary Fitzwater, Jesse Setti, Kyle Matthews, Matt McIntyre, and the rest of the cars left in the field, Jessica Villanueva, Jeffrey Rose, James McLeod, and Benjamin Miles. Pace car in pit road. We're ready to get this race back underway. 11 laps to go. Ian Dutta trying to salvage out a victory after having an up-and-down season. Having a lot of good runs, but just having a lot of bad runs to overlap it. But now he's going to lose the lead to PJ Williams. PJ thinking about going for his 4th win. Can you imagine that? 4th win of the season already. PJ Williams is having probably a storybook season right now. Been in the points lead a lot for like the second half of the regular season, pretty much. He's had the points lead throughout most of the second half of the regular season. 3 victories, and like I said, he's pretty much locked into the chase no matter what, either staying in the top 10 with the 3 wins, or if he somehow managed to get some bad runs and fall out, he probably would most likely still get a wild card spot. A lot of shakeups in the top 5. David Rivera now in second, trying to run down PJ Williams. And then you got Bob Jones, who we talked about a little bit, who was battling with Angel Navarro for 10th earlier. He's now all of a sudden in 3rd. And then you got Dorian Facepuncher up into the looks like the 5th position right now. Seth Cole having a good run going right now in the 6th position. It looks like Anthony McCrory, any damage he got, which is just minimal, is not keeping him slow. It's actually still keeping him up to speed. So he's having a good run going right now in 7th. But meanwhile, PJ Williams starting to pull away from David Rivera, and as a result, Bob Jones has caught the 6th car as he's trying to find a way around him for the 2nd position. And here he comes down low. Now you gotta wonder, when these cars decide to try and come in pit road, it was around laps 10 and 11, so you gotta wonder if all these cars that pitted have enough fuel for the rest of the way. So this race could come down to pit strategy if possible. It just all depends on how it's going to play out. If we get another caution, they may come down the pit road to top off on fuel to make sure that they don't have anything happen. Whoa, a little bit of contact with David Rivera, Bob Jones, but look at this 5-car train that was just happening. But now Galligan's going to come low underneath of Bob Jones for the 3rd spot. And then for 5th, Seth Cole underneath Dorian Facepuncher. Galligan now to 3rd. David Rivera still hanging in second, but he's lost a little bit of ground to leader right now, P.J. Williams. 7 laps to go. Rivera still hanging in strong in second. And McCrory, he's starting to show his cards now. He's now gone up to 5th. How cool would this be for a car that has a little bit of a buckle on his hood who was involved in that big one, running in 5th, if he could somehow find a way to get up there and get the victory? And he definitely deserves it. This season for Anthony McCrory has just been really, really dismal. He comes in 31st in the points. He had a good run last week at Chicago, which managed to move him up into 31st from 36th. But other than that, he has been in desperate need for some good finishes and a couple victories if he wants to somehow have any hope of making the chase. Sean Galligan goes by, made that pass look easy for the 2nd spot, and McCrory coming underneath Seth Cole for 4th. McCrory had like some like maybe that damage has given him a little bit of downforce, if anything, to help him pick up a little bit of speed and maybe make these moves. But now he's going to lose a spot, maybe even 2 spots, because Michael Norman, he's coming through the field pretty good too. Battle still going on with Sean Galligan, David Rivera for 2nd. And this is what P.J. Williams likes, to have these cars behind him battle, so he keeps the lead going. Although Galligan managed to gain a little bit of ground on P.J. Williams, almost like a little bit of that draft effect from the 6 car is helping him try to close in on the 5. Galligan could be going for his 3rd win of the season here and potentially get a locked wild card spot. Or a shot at reaching into the top 20, and if he could get good runs from here on out, he could eventually get himself in the top 10 and carry over to bonus points. Although I see a car coming in pit road, that's Dylan Thoreau. That could be a sign that these cars are going to be short on fuel. Because Thoreau, I think, pitted at the same time as like Jessica Sheldon and company. And, whoa, a couple cars into the wall. Cody Lamas and James Silverfox, but they keep it together. And Kyle Corbett, Rue McIntyre were on the apron. Don't know why, but they're still up and running still. As I'm continuously looking around to keep an eye on things. Because we don't want anything like what we saw under the first caution happen again. Having a big wreck when cars are slowing up. Wow, and a lot of cars coming into pit road. And P.J. Williams, who was the leader, he's in too. Who does that hand the lead over to is the question. It hands it over right now to Dougie Shears. But he's going to have to pit as well. Man, this is going to be interesting. We're going to have another one of those races where it comes down to who gets out of pit road first and stays out up at the front. It's starting to look like one of those races. And if I can recall, I think it was Kansas where we witnessed that, and P.J. Williams, ironically, won that race too. And now here comes the rest of the cars, Shears leading everybody else in the pit road. Let's see who got out of the pits first of this first group. Wow, P.J. Williams actually didn't get out first. It was Galligan. Galligan got out first, and then Rivera, and then Seth Cole, then Bob Jones, then Face Puncher, then Williams. So Williams lost 5 spots under those pit stops. So if things go his way, Galligan could be the new leader by the time they get to the white flag. Although we got to keep an eye up here, just keep an eye on Dougie Shears, although Cody Lamas, I think he was already in a group of cars that pitted. So Shears is going to get out first of the second group of cars that came in. So it looks like it's going to come down. I don't think it's going to come down to it. I think Galligan's going to get the lead now. And he's going to have a huge margin over David Rivera, who's in second now. And I'm almost curious as if maybe Dylan Thoreau could be in the top 5 as a result of pitting really early. Next time by, it's going to be the white flag. Or could Cody Lamas be the leader? Although I don't think so. I think he's tail end of the lead lap. We're about to find out as they're getting ready to come to the stripe to take the white flag. Who is officially the leader? It is Sean Galligan. And unless Cody Lamas really slows him up here, I don't think anybody's going to get to him, although David Rivera's the closest to him. But he's a good a ways back, about a second and a half last time by to the line. So I think Galligan is going to have this race in the bag as he just has gone by Cody Lamas. And there ain't no more lap traffic ahead of him. Well, Benjamin Miles is up there, but he ain't going to get him in time. Coming out of 4, getting ready to take the checkered flag. Sean Galligan gets his 3rd win of the season and gets a locked wildcard spot at this moment. Sean Galligan wins the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. After an interesting turn of events with those final pit stops, outbeating 5 cars from P.J. Williams when he was the leader, got outbeat by 5 other cars, Galligan managed to make it work, and he picks up the victory. What a job for that young man from England to get his 3rd win of the season, and if I can think, maybe his 5th win of his career in the Walmart Cup Series. What a job by that 12 team. After Austin Weiner retired from NR after last season in that ride, Galligan decided, I'm going to keep that spirit of that team alive. And so far, despite early bad luck with bad finishes, despite being a dominant car, even though points-wise he's not had the best season, but finish-wise with certain races like this, he's had a great season. 3 wins, tied for the most so far this season with P.J. Williams. Galligan, at this moment, would get a locked up wildcard spot for 3 victories. But let's take a look at the rest of the results. David Rivera, great run and finishing in the 2nd position. That's definitely going to help him out as far as staying ahead of the 11th spot in the points. Seth Cole, it has been a while since Seth Cole has gotten a good run like this. He comes away in 3rd. Bob Jones, who was pretty much top 10 all race long, he comes away in 4th. And that pit strategy of pitting early paid off for Dylan Thoreau as he comes away with a 5th place finish. So great strategy for the 17 that got him a good run. Dougie Shear's 2nd week in a row, a good top 10 run for him. P.J. Williams pretty much had a win get away from him, but he'll still be satisfied with a good run in 7th. But I think deep down he's feeling a little heartbroken after losing the battle on pit road, and that pretty much cost him the win. Tanner Sullivan, the highest of the rookies, comes away in 8th. Chris Washer, great run in 9th. And Dylan Poteet, finally the luck turns around for him. He comes away in the 10th position. So great job for Poteet. Rest of the top 20, Dorian Facepuncher, Ian Dutta, Johnny Gardner, Joshua Collard, Michael Norman, Jesse Setti, Stephen Pollard III, Charles Jackson, Jessica Villanueva, and Jessica Shelton, who was arguably the dominant car of the race early on, due to pit strategy, cost her a shot at a good run, comes away 20th. Rest of the top 30, Anthony McCrory, Charles Sanford, Zachary Fitzwater, Rue McIntyre, Kyle Corbett, Matt McIntyre, Jeffrey Rose, James McLeod, Joshua Balkin, and Chase Oliver. And everybody else that finished on the lead lap, Kyle Matthews and Benjamin Miles, 2 cars a lap down, Cody Lamas, James Silverfox. Everybody else is out of the race after our only caution that happened, and it was a big one. Danny Wells, Pichu London, Chris Michaels, Preston Plord, Angel Navarro, Dylan Young, Austin LaPlante, and Trent Dunham. But that does it for our coverage here at the Brickyard 400. A great race and a crazy race at that. But next week we head to Pocono for the Pennsylvania 400. And that's going to be an interesting race. But until then, here are your results, rookie points, and regular points heading into Pocono. And remember, 5 races now left until the chase. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.